Who wants to play video games?
E3 has once again come and gone, my friends, and depending on who you ask, they might say that that's a good thing. This year's announcements may not have been as plentiful as years past. It's understandable given all the restrictions and shifts to work from home given everything that's happened, and I for one am just surprised we got as much as we did out of this year. So while some are disappointed at the lack of announcements or didn't get specific things that they wanted, I find myself largely alright with the announcements we got, pretty much on par with some if not most years. But as to be expected, there are at least a few announcements that I'm glad to see more over others. So this is just a quick little video of me going down a list of games and announcements in alphabetical order and talking about what I liked about each thing. This list isn't everything that piqued my interest, and if you are curious about some of the opinions I have about other things, or want to see my reactions in the moment, I did record 4 of the major live streams, as you can see on the screen here, all of which can be viewed at any time now, so give them a look if you're interested. All this sound good? You pretty much know what I'm going to be doing, so let's just get into it. I have maybe played 3 to 4 of the Forza games to date, but when the mood strikes and I decide to either pick a copy up or play it through Game Pass, I usually go for the Horizon series over Motorsport. If Motorsport is all about the power and performance of cars, then Horizon is just about playing with them, and having impromptu races with random people or just traveling the beautifully sculpted countries that the game offers is relaxing and enjoyable. I've always loved the attention to detail that Playground Games brings to this series, and while it may not be a personal favorite of mine or anything, I can't deny that they make some pretty damn good looking games, with the upcoming Forza Horizon 5 no exception. I've always personally equated Halo with multiplayer, and now we're getting a bit of a new experience for the franchise. Free to play. Now that might sound initially scary and like it'd be filled with microtransactions and whatnot, but the brief look that they gave at least put my mind at ease on how things will go. Battle passes don't ever really go away and can be unlocked whenever. There's an emphasis on crossplay between console and PC, and the fact that it'll be separate from the campaign all seem like great decisions to me. And overall, I think it'll be a lot of what made the game fun from the past with some new exciting features like a grappling hook. Because why not? I'll certainly be taking a look at it when it comes out, at least, and if nothing else, I can't wait to be teabagged in a free-to-play environment for once. Less of a game announcement and more just glorified DLC, Kazuya being the next fighter in Smash is a choice that seems obvious in hindsight, but I don't think any of us really saw coming. While I had quite a few hopefuls that didn't quite make the cut, it'll be interesting to see how in-depth Kazuya's moveset ends up being, especially considering the brief teaser they showed had him featuring a lot of different moves, and I'm personally excited to see him enter the fight. I enjoyed the original Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom battle fine enough, but I felt like it was limited in a few areas and ended up just being Baby's first turn-based strategy game. A lot of my problems seem to be addressed in what is being called Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, including more freedom of movement and different kinds of equipment that aren't just centered around your main character in the form of sparks. It'll probably just be a simple game like the original to make it very kid-friendly, but the promise of a more refined difficulty curve helps give me hope that this will be a more in-depth experience than ever before. While the presentation of the game was needlessly long and they decided to show it basically twice for some reason, the actual gameplay looks fun and engaging for the new Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game from Square Enix. While being stuck as Star-Lord is a bit of a bummer, being able to do combo attacks and send out commands to the other 4 members of the team helps add a level of strategy that's most welcome in this situation. And while I personally would have liked to see some of the more out-there members of the franchise appear, like Adam Warlock or Quasar, it doesn't mean that they won't feature more teammates you can possibly change out throughout the journey, considering we saw both Mantis and Cosmo the Space Dog in the trailer. While I would have preferred a wider range of characters than just the Guardians that we've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's nice to see them getting some love in general. And with all the choice-based gameplay that this one is set to offer, I think it'll be a fun, wacky experience. Hopefully there's more to fight than just gelatinous cubes, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Metal Slug is one of those arcade series that I played a lot of when I was younger, and while I'm not usually a fan of tactics games like this, I will say that Metal Slug Tactics has piqued my interest from a purely aesthetic level. The fact that the sprites move and look like they did from the original games is honestly incredible, and overall I think if this tactics game is even half as fun to play as it looks, then it'll be a win in my book. It's really a surprise to see a Metroid game here at all, given that it wasn't Prime 4, but for it to also be the first new side-scrolling game in the franchise in close to 20 years is just astonishing to me. It looks like they're adding in some new components like enemies you can't easily beat in the form of the Emmy bots, each requiring a way to avoid them with special powers or until you unlock a powerful weapon. However this one ends up shaping out, I'm down to return to some classic Samus gameplay and eager to see what new ideas they bring to the fold 20 years later. The only reason I was even remotely interested in Google Stadia was Orcs Must Die 3. But now the game is coming to Steam and PlayStation consoles next month, so I officially have run out of reasons to care for Stadia. The second game in the series is one of my personal favorites. It happens to be my 5th most played game overall, thanks mainly to the game's endless mode, and if the improvements I've seen from this new game live up to their potential, I'm sure I'll log just as much time into this one. Any game that features an otter is already adorable in my book, but taking the wacky and oftentimes hectic brawling of gang beasts and throwing in weapons, fuzzy animals, and more looks like a lot of fun. The trailer didn't show much other than what the game plays like, but that said, I'm optimistic that it'll still offer as much fun as I've gotten out of similar games like Gang Beasts, and then some, thanks in part to the cute aesthetic and the wacky ways the characters move and fight. But if anyone comes for me while I'm as the otter, I will end you. My otter does not deserve to be hurt. Psychonauts 2 is easily my most hyped game coming out in 2021, and now that we finally have a release date, I can actually say that with confidence. Nothing they showed here was stuff I hadn't already seen, but at this point, I don't care. I'm here for some more Psychonauts and glad that I don't have to wait too much longer to get it. Now if Raz could only get into Smash, my life would be complete, but I know that's not going to happen, so I don't know, I guess I'll take this. I'm not huge on the Rainbow Six series personally, with only a few hours of experience into Siege and next to nothing when talking about any other title. But the idea of the operatives from Rainbow Six Siege, one of the better parts of that game, coming together to take on an alien threat sounds like a fun idea to me. The designs of the aliens is surprisingly unique, the unique weapons that the trailer showcased show a lot of potential, and overall I think having a tactical extraction game centered around an alien invasion is a relatively fresh idea. I will say I'm perturbed by the idea that if you go down in a mission you lose that operative, sounding more like a frustrating mechanic to me than anything else. But in games like this, I latch on to 1 or 2 characters at a time, so if I happen to lose them, I'll have less of a reason to play the game. Overall, not bad for the first reveal, and for the first time, I'm genuinely interested to see what we get shown next in relation to a Rainbow Six game. Arcane Studios sold me on their brand of first-person action and wacky powers with Dishonored, and I'm eagerly awaiting their timed PlayStation exclusive Deathloop coming out in September, but the Xbox conference closed out with a sneak peek at their upcoming new project exclusive to Xbox consoles and PC, Redfall. With up to 4 players in tow and a slew of powers and gadgets, players fight through Redfall, Massachusetts, taking on the hordes of the undead. But instead of zombies this time, players are overrun with vampires! No, not those vampires. Those vampires, there we go. I'm personally sad that this one won't be coming to PlayStation 5, my preferred system of choice, but it'll be coming to Game Pass day 1 and I'll gladly check it out from there. I'm not usually into extreme sports games, but something about the over-the-top fun of Riders Republic has me excited, even if some of the first-person segments made me feel a little dizzy while watching the live stream. I think it's the wide variety of activities players can partake in combined with the silly fun atmosphere of a festival that they have going on, and all of that coalesces into an experience that has me at least intrigued, but I think I'll try getting into the beta before I consider actually picking this one up. The original Breath of the Wild continues to be one of my favorite Switch games, and after this brief tease in what's to come in the as of yet technically still untitled Breath of the Wild 2, I think it's safe to say that streak of quality will continue. Likely utilizing the same map and adding in new elements like Sky Islands will breathe new life into the world, and with new powers like being able to reverse time and essentially drill through solid objects, the freedom that was a central part of the original will likely only feel more expanded upon. We still have a ways to go before this one releases, but I have high hopes that it'll soar just as much as the game that preceded it. You see, Ubisoft, this is how you close out a press conference. Not with this. Not with this bullshit. We weren't really shown much of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands during Summer Games Fest, but if it's anything like Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, the DLC for Borderlands 2, I think it'll be an absolute blast to play. The wacky nature of Borderlands combined with Dungeons and Dragons with an impressive cast of voice actors all has me excited, and I'm eager to do as the Mad Lady says and roll initiative. And there you have it. a list of about 15 games that had me excited for the future of the medium as a whole. While others may have included Starfield or Elden Ring or even like Far Cry 6 on their list, these are the games that have me personally excited for what's to come. And hey, if nothing else, if I don't end up playing them, I can always watch someone else play them. Because that's the power of YouTube. And Twitch, I suppose. Now, of course, that begs the question, what games are you excited for? Let me know down in the comments below. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video. Take care.